okay, you're saying something that's actually factually inaccurate,
Right.
according to the narrative. Now, let's be real clear. I don't necessarily think they know what's going on yet. There's a lot of weird going on.
You're not going to believe what just dropped. The internet is on fire, and people are losing their minds over this one. Joe Rogan, yes. Joe Rogan just went public with claims so explosive, they've sent shockwaves across every corner of social media. And it's about Charlie Kirk and his widow. According to Rogan, things aren't adding up. Far from it. He's suggesting no. He's practically alleging that Charlie Kirk's widow have been involved in something far darker than anyone imagined. The kind of betrayal that makes your jaw drop. The kind that turns a tragic story into a full-blown scandal. People are already speculating. Insider sources, leaked messages, even cryptic social media posts are fueling theories that this wasn't just a tragic shooting. It might have been orchestrated, calculated, and yes, personal. And here's the kicker. Rogan hinted that he has information no one else has. Details so wild that once the public finds out, there's no turning back. Brace yourselves, because what you're about to hear next will make you question everything you thought you knew about Charlie Kirk. Turning Point USA and the people closest to him, you need to hear this.
This kid had a rifle with a scope. Now, here's where it gets weird. The first images of this rifle with a scope, I swear to God, it looks like he has a composite stock on it. Like it looks like a modern 30-06 rifle.
And you won't believe what comes next. To truly understand why the internet is exploding right now, we need to go back, and we mean way back, into the tangled web surrounding Charlie Kirk, Turning Point USA, and the people closest to him. This isn't just a story about a shocking shooting anymore. This is about power, loyalty, betrayal, and secrets so deep they make your skin crawl. Charlie Kirk, the conservative firebrand, had built an empire over the years. A man adored by millions, feared by his enemies, and envied by his rivals. But behind the speeches, the public appearances, and the smiling photo ops, there were whispers, little hints, that not everything was as it seemed. Reports from insider sources have long suggested tension inside Turning Point USA, hidden divisions, power struggles, alleged mismanagement of millions of dollars, and, according to multiple sources, a shadowy internal audit that Kirk had quietly initiated just days before the tragedy. And then there's the widow. Officially, she was the grieving spouse, the picture of composure in the public eye. But Rogan, sources claim, isn't buying it? Not for a second. He hinted that her rise to the helm of Turning Point USA after Kirk's death wasn't just timing, it was strategic.
First of all, there was that one guy who was the decoy. All right, so you got this guy who's an older guy who starts yelling out. Didn't he take his pants down? He took his pants down. This guy was at 9/11. He was at the Boston bombings.
All the hits.
He called in a fake bomb at another place. And then he did this at this thing.
Strategic. Some insiders allege she had deeper knowledge of Kirk's internal audit than anyone realized. A key detail that may have put her directly in the crosshairs of suspicion. Social media sleuths have been piecing together old photos, leaked texts, and financial records, and the picture they're painting is chilling. The background drama doesn't stop there. For years, Tyler Robinson, the alleged shooter, was almost invisible, a footnote in the background of this saga. But Rogan's podcast and Owen's explosive statements suggest Robinson was just a pawn, a convenient figure to distract the public while the real story unfolded behind closed doors. And if you thought that was shocking, insiders are now claiming that some of Kirk's closest advisors were already scrambling before the shooting, as if they knew something catastrophic was coming. Add to that the strange history of the so-called decoy. Suspect a man allegedly tied to multiple high-profile events, from the Boston Marathon bombing to mysterious incidents that no one can fully explain, and you start to see why people are losing their minds online. Rogan described this man as erratic, unpredictable, and yet suspiciously well-placed at every turn. He was the chaos nobody expected, but everyone noticed, and his sudden disappearance only added fuel to the fire. And let's talk about Turning Point USA itself. The organization, revered by supporters and scrutinized by critics, suddenly looked fragile from the inside out. Anonymous sources say Kirk had uncovered financial discrepancies in millions of dollars of donor funds redirected, hidden, or misused. Whispers claim a secret internal division was moving money in ways that could have destroyed reputations if exposed. Some allege these funds were tied to shadowy consulting firms and political operatives, meaning the stakes were higher than anyone had imagined. Then there's the timing. Why did Kirk push the audit just a week before his death? Why did certain staffers vanish in the days leading up to the event? And why did his widow take over immediately after, with uncanny precision? The coincidences pile up like dominoes, and each one falls in a way that makes the official narrative seem almost scripted. Insiders, who spoke to Rogan and Candace Owens, claim there were arguments, late-night meetings, and cryptic messages exchanged within the organization. Tensions were at a breaking point, one source said anonymously, and everyone knew something was about to happen. But no one expected it to end like this. This backstory, in just context, it's the foundation of a drama that's been building for months, maybe years. A web of money, loyalty, and secrecy that set the stage for what many are now calling a calculated tragedy. Every leaked text, every suspicious move, and every unanswered question adds layers to the mystery. And just when you think it couldn't get more intense, social media reactions started pouring in. People online began connecting dots between the audit, the widow's sudden promotion, the decoy suspect, and Tyler Robinson's rapid arrest. Conspiracy theories exploded overnight, from TikTok threads to Reddit deep dives. And everyone wants answers that no one is giving. But here's the real kicker. The story, as wild as it already sounds, is about to get even darker, because what happened in the days leading up to the tragedy, the financial secrets, the decoy suspect, the whispers about who really knew what, those aren't just mysteries, they're ticking time bombs. And as Joe Rogan hinted on his podcast, and Candace Owens echoed across her live streams, the narrative the public is being fed may only be the surface. The deeper truth, the one hidden behind closed doors, financial records, and cryptic texts, is explosive, personal, and, according to insiders, could completely rewrite everything we thought we knew about Charlie Kirk. Turning Point USA and his widow. Brace yourself, because the first shocking twist is coming next. And it's worse than anyone could have imagined. The tension had been simmering for months, but no one expected it to erupt like
Right after, so somehow or another, this guy has the state of mind that the moment someone gets shot, he yells out and says, I did it, and takes his pants down or something like that. I don't know exactly what he did. Then, ready for this? He gets arrested for child porn right away.
Right after this happened?
Oh, right away. He's in jail for child porn.
it to erupt like this. The tragic shooting of Charlie Kirk wasn't just a headline, it was a trigger that unleashed a cascade of secrets, suspicions, and outright chaos. And in the eye of this storm, the widow, according to multiple insider leaks, she wasn't merely a grieving spouse stepping into her husband's role. No, Rogan's podcast suggested she might have been entangled in ways that would make your head spin. Let's rewind to the scene. September 10, 2025, Utah Valley University. A student Q&A that should have been routine. Instead, it became the stage for a tragedy that would shock a nation. Charlie Kirk, poised at the podium, was reportedly uneasy, glancing repeatedly at the exits. Some attendees later claimed they noticed unfamiliar men in plain clothes, earpieces barely visible, quietly moving through the back rows. Campus security, not them. Law enforcement, not them either. The tension in the room was palpable, even before the first shot rang out, and then chaos erupted. Shots fired, students screamed, and amidst it all, a figure appeared, a so-called decoy suspect, older, erratic, and behaving in a way that no sane person could explain. Reports claim he yelled, I did it, while behaving outrageously, even exposing himself to the crowd. And as if scripted, he vanished from the narrative almost immediately, later arrested on unrelated charges that conveniently silenced him before anyone could question his side of the story. Rogan called it way too perfect, and people online are still piecing together how one man could appear at the epicenter of tragedy after tragedy. Then there's Tyler Robinson, the official shooter. At first glance, he seemed like a convenient patsy, a 22-year-old with no public history of violence. But according to Owens, Robinson was blindsided by the accusation. Allegedly, he didn't even know about the bullet markings tied to the weapon. He supposedly didn't use guns, didn't own any firearms, and yet the official story insisted he meticulously executed a calculated attack with a century-old rifle. Rogan scoffed at the idea on air. A restored World War I rifle with a modern scope claimed to have been assembled by a kid with zero experience. The audience went wild. It made no sense. And here's where the first twist hits like a bomb. Candace Owens revealed leaked messages allegedly from inside Turning Point USA suggesting that the audit Charlie had ordered uncovered financial discrepancies linked to massive sums of donor money funds that mysteriously vanished into shadowy projects. These weren't trivial amounts. We're talking millions of dollars. Some insiders even claimed that the widow was aware of these irregularities and that her promotion to CEO was timed suspiciously close to Charlie's death. Social media immediately lit up with speculation. TikTok users dug up screenshots of old internal memos. Anonymous posts on Reddit surfaced claiming knowledge of secret divisions within the organization, and Twitter erupted with hashtags questioning the widow's sudden rise. Was this really grief, or something far more calculated? One viral tweet asked, and the debate snowballed in hours, and the shock doesn't stop there. According to sources close to the family, there was a bizarre last-minute meeting reported just 2 days before the shooting. Key advisors allegedly discussed the audit findings and the potential fallout if they became public. Some claim that threats were made financial, political, and personal. Charlie was warned, one insider supposedly said anonymously, but he refused to back down, and that defiance may have cost him his life. Meanwhile, online investigators noted a chilling pattern. Staff members connected to the audit reportedly vanished in the days leading up to the tragedy. Their departures were sudden, unexplained, and some later appeared in lobbying firms or political organizations, as if quietly reassigned. Every piece of this puzzle screams orchestrated, and Rogan wasn't shy about saying it on his show. He suggested that Tyler Robinson may have been framed to distract from the internal storm swirling within Turning Point USA. Then came the first public twist that truly shocked the nation. Owens, citing anonymous sources, claimed that a key document, a memo Charlie had signed on September 2nd, just days before his death, outlined a new co-appointment and detailed the audit of a secret division handling millions in undisclosed funds. The timing, unbelievable, the implications, explosive. And according to Owens, insiders feared that exposing this audit would ruin careers, destroy reputations, and topple a carefully built empire. This revelation instantly changed the narrative. Suddenly, the story wasn't just about a shocking shooting. It was about money, betrayal, and strategic moves behind the scenes that may have positioned the widow in a very suspicious light. Fans flooded social media with questions. Was she involved? Did she know more than she let on? And, chillingly, could her rise to CEO have been premeditated? And just when the tension felt unbearable, Rogan dropped another bomb during the podcast. He suggested that the decoy suspect's presence, combined with the rapid sealing of police files and the unusual weapon details, points to a carefully choreographed distraction, one meant to steer attention away from the internal audit and the financial secrets it threatened to expose. The official story, too neat, he said. Way too clean. By the time Owens finished her live stream, the narrative had completely shifted. Tyler Robinson was no longer the center of attention. The widow, the decoy, the audit, and the mysterious disappearance of staff became the focal points. The drama wasn't just heating up, it was exploding. And viewers were left with a horrifying question: was Charlie Kirk's death truly a random act of violence, or this video of something far more calculated? And just when you thought it couldn't get more intense, there's another revelation coming next that will make your jaw drop even further. Just when the public thought they had a grasp on the chaos surrounding Charlie Kirk's death, the story spiraled into a level of insanity nobody could have predicted. Social media was exploding, mainstream outlets were scrambling, and conspiracy hunters were practically losing their minds. And in the eye of this storm, the widow, Joe Rogan's allegations, and Candace Owens' explosive claims had set the stage for a second, earth-shattering twist, and the truth was more disturbing than anyone could imagine. It all started when a leaked internal memo allegedly surfaced online. Sources claim this document revealed that Charlie Kirk's widow had direct involvement in overseeing parts of the audit he had launched. Not only that, but insiders suggested she may have had prior knowledge of certain financial discrepancies, millions of dollars allegedly being funneled into shadowy accounts linked to consultants with political connections. The memo supposedly included her initials on key pages, which sent shockwaves through online forums. Suddenly, questions that were whispered behind closed doors became public speculation. Was her rise to CEO planned? Was it this video of a bigger scheme? Social media erupted overnight. Twitter threads exploded with claims that the widow may have strategically positioned herself to gain control of Turning Point USA before her husband's death. TikTok users compiled side-by-side comparisons of public appearances, suspiciously timed meetings, and cryptic messages from insiders. Reddit sleuths highlighted the sudden disappearance of key staff, their reassignment, and even alleged deleted financial records. Every detail seemed to paint a picture more sinister than the last. Then there were the direct allegations from Owens herself. On her livestream, she claimed that Tyler Robinson's arrest was not only a distraction, but a staged narrative to cover up internal turmoil. She alleged that Tyler had no motive, no background in firearms, and no connection to the financial irregularities. Instead, Owens suggested attention needed to be diverted from the widow's rapid rise and the audit findings that could have destroyed reputations at the highest level, and the weapon. The world went into a frenzy over the restored World War I rifle allegedly used in the attack. Rogan questioned how a 22-year-old could have operated such a complex firearm, pointing out inconsistencies in the official images and speculating about how the rifle appeared to have modern modifications. Fans online agreed it was as if the official story had been crafted to look believable, but failed under scrutiny. Every detail was under the microscope: scope markings, stock style, and even the supposedly unique bullet engravings. The decoy suspect theory exploded as well. As if choreographed, the older man appeared at the scene, created chaos, and then disappeared into legal limbo with child-related charges, conveniently silencing him before he could speak to the press. Rogan called it too neat, and Owens confirmed that insiders were whispering about the timing, suggesting the decoy's role was this video of a larger operation to keep attention away from the real story: the widow, the audit, and the money trail. Then came the shocker that truly lit the internet on fire. Whispers emerged that a high-ranking politician had been in contact with the widow days before the shooting. Anonymous sources claimed meetings took place discussing the audit and potential restructuring of Turning Point USA. Social media went wild with speculation. Was the widow acting alone, or was she part of a bigger, strategic plan orchestrated behind the scenes? Fans began theorizing that Charlie Kirk had stumbled onto something so sensitive that his death wasn't a random act, it was a warning. And the leaks didn't stop. Screenshots of internal chats supposedly revealed tension between Kirk and his closest advisors in the days leading up to his death. Some messages implied fear that exposing certain funds would provoke serious retaliation. One anonymous insider allegedly texted, "If he goes public, everything collapses. He knows too much." Be careful. That line sent chills across online communities, instantly fueling debates about whether this was murder, accident, or something far more calculated. The public frenzy reached a new level when Owens claimed that Turning Point USA had a secret shadow division handling millions in donations outside official accounting channels. According to her, Kirk's audit threatened to expose this division, and those in control may have decided to act preemptively. Fans and conspiracy theorists began connecting dots between the widow's sudden promotion, the sealed police files, and the mysterious decoy suspect. The narrative was no longer just shocking, it was explosive. Rogan piled on his podcast. He revisited every odd detail: the suspicious timing of arrests, the unusual security lapses at the event, and the sudden disappearance of key staff members. He even suggested the shooting location was symbolic, designed to send a message. Social media erupted with hashtags like #KirkAuditMystery, #WidowInvolved, and #DecoyChaos, turning the case into a viral investigation. By now, the story had moved far beyond Tyler Robinson or the official investigation. The internet was consumed by the possibility that Charlie Kirk's widow might not have been a passive bystander, but a key player in the events leading up to his death. The audit, the financial discrepancies, and the strange behavior of insiders painted a picture so dark that the public couldn't look away. And just when viewers thought the drama had peaked, whispers of another revelation began to surface, something tied to the widow's alleged involvement in communications the night before the shooting. If true, this detail would completely upend everything the public thought they knew about the timeline, the suspects, and the internal chaos at Turning Point. USA, brace yourselves, because what comes next will divide the internet even further, fuel more outrage, and leave everyone questioning the widow's role like never before. The moment Joe Rogan and Candace Owens dropped their explosive statements, the internet ignited like a powder keg. Social media platforms became battlegrounds overnight, with fans, critics, and conspiracy hunters dissecting every single detail of the Charlie Kirk case. The widow, once seen as a grieving spouse, suddenly became the center of a storm so fierce it threatened to consume everyone connected to Turning Point. USA. Twitter exploded first. Hashtags like #WidowInvolved, #KirkAuditMystery, and #DecoyChaos trended within hours. Users combed through her public appearances, comparing videos, timestamps, and facial expressions. Some claimed her tears at the funeral looked staged, too composed for someone mourning a spouse violently taken from them. Others argued she moved too quickly into the CEO role, rising like a phoenix mere days after the tragedy. Every minor detail became evidence, and threads quickly ballooned into thousands of comments debating her potential motives. TikTok became a visual war zone. Clips of the shooting scene, the decoy suspect, and the alleged rifle were dissected frame by frame. Users overlaid timestamps, added voiceovers speculating on inconsistencies, and even recreated the events based on leaked memos and social media posts. Some videos went viral within minutes, racking up millions of views and turning casual viewers into amateur detectives overnight. One particularly chilling clip suggested the widow had been aware of the audit discrepancies, using screenshots of old internal emails allegedly showing her initials beside critical financial files. It didn't matter that these were unverified, viewers were captivated. Reddit communities were relentless. In subreddits dedicated to investigative discussions, users pieced together timelines that suggested the widow had been communicating with top political figures days before the shooting. One anonymous user claimed she wasn't just grieving, she was maneuvering. This was strategic. Others dug into Tyler Robinson's background, highlighting contradictions in the official narrative. Was he really the shooter? Or was he just a convenient scapegoat in a game far larger than anyone realized? Celebrities joined the conversation, amplifying the chaos. Conservative commentators questioned her rise to power, some subtly implying complicity. Meanwhile, liberal pundits speculated on the deeper corruption hinted at by Owens, using the case as a cautionary tale about unchecked power within influential organizations. Even YouTube personalities jumped in, creating videos breaking down every alleged text message, memo, and security lapse, each one more dramatic than the last. The narrative was spreading like wildfire, leaving no corner of the internet untouched. Mainstream media couldn't stay silent either. Headlines began subtly shifting. Articles that had previously labeled Tyler Robinson as the lone shooter started using more cautious language. Suspect in custody, pending investigation, or authorities examine internal factors. Outlets that had once focused on the tragedy itself now added sentences like, investigators are reviewing Turning Point USA internal audits in light of new claims. Screenshots of these subtle edits circulated widely online, fueling suspicion that someone was trying to control the narrative, or at least soften public perception of the widow's role. Fans were divided, some defending her, claiming the grief and her rise to CEO were legitimate, while others accused her of orchestrating events behind the scenes. TikTok users debated whether she had prior knowledge of the audit discrepancies, while Reddit threads suggested she could have been this video of a larger plan to protect financial interests at Turning Point USA. Heated arguments broke out in comment sections, each one dripping with anger, panic, and speculation. The decoy suspect theory exploded even further during this period. Online sleuths linked him to previous incidents and suggested a pattern too strange to ignore. Rogan's analysis of the timing of his arrest, Owen's leaked insider claims, and new photos showing him in the vicinity of other national events all added fuel to the fire. Social media users speculated wildly. Was the decoy suspect a professional distraction, or just a pawn in a game bigger than anyone realized? Either way, public attention intensified, keeping the widow, the audit, and the mysterious financial discrepancies at the top of the discussion. Meanwhile, insider leaks allegedly shared by Owens continued to circulate. Anonymous documents reportedly revealed more about the missing millions in donations, the secret division, and even internal warnings about threats to Kirk. Some online theorists claim that the widow may have known about these threats and that her CEO appointment allowed her to control the fallout. Other users questioned whether she had actually manipulated events to her advantage, pointing to the timing of her promotion and sudden restructuring at Turning Point USA. Every platform from YouTube to Instagram, Reddit to Twitter was ablaze. Users cross-referenced every new leak, photo, or video, constructing a narrative that painted the widow as either a grieving spouse thrust into chaos or a master strategist with a hidden agenda. Celebrities, commentators, and everyday fans all joined the debate, adding layers of emotion, speculation, and drama that pushed this story into global attention almost overnight. And just when it seemed like the public frenzy couldn't escalate further, new whispers began circulating online. Some insiders claimed there was a smoking gun message from the night before the shooting, one that allegedly implicated the widow in the very financial maneuvering Charlie had been investigating. The chatter suggested that this revelation would rock the organization, the family, and the public perception of the tragedy itself. As the world watched in disbelief, it became clear this was no longer just a story about a tragic shooting. It was a full-blown media storm, a digital wildfire fueled by suspicion, outrage, and a relentless quest for answers. The widow's every move was under scrutiny, every word dissected, and every alleged connection debated. And if you thought the drama had peaked, think again. The final twist was still lurking, waiting to shatter expectations and leave viewers desperate for the next shocking update. Just when the world thought it had reached the peak of chaos surrounding Charlie Kirk's death, a revelation dropped that made jaws hit the floor. Late-night social media whispers suddenly turned into viral explosions. An alleged audio recording surfaced, reportedly capturing a conversation between the widow and an unidentified high-ranking figure days before the shooting. Fans claimed the audio hinted at knowledge of the audit, missing millions, and strategic planning that could have reshaped the entire narrative. The widow's calm, collected tone in the recording sent shockwaves. Was she orchestrating events behind the scenes? Or was it an attempt to protect the organization? The ambiguity was terrifying, and that's exactly why it went viral. Leaked documents allegedly revealed yet another bombshell. Charlie Kirk had discovered an unauthorized financial network within Turning Point USA, tracing millions of dollars that had vanished into offshore accounts. According to the leaks, insiders warned Kirk that exposing this could have serious consequences. The timing of these warnings mere days before his assassination led online sleuths to speculate a chilling connection between the audit, the widow, and the supposed decoy suspect. Everything was suddenly linked in a web of betrayal, financial deception, and strategic maneuvering. Social media erupted in panic. TikTok compilations dissected the audio recording, highlighting specific phrases and intonations as evidence of the widow's potential foreknowledge. Reddit threads exploded with breakdowns of the leaked financial charts and insider messages, each one painting an increasingly sinister picture. Fans and critics alike argued over whether the widow was a grieving spouse, a calculating strategist, or something even darker. The speculation reached a fever pitch. Celebrities weighed in, fueling the fire. Conservative commentators questioned the integrity of Turning Point USA, while political analysts speculated that major figures could have orchestrated the events behind the scenes. Joe Rogan and Candace Owens both hinted at more undisclosed information coming to light, warning that the story was far from over. Their influence kept the narrative alive, ensuring that every new leak, tweet, or photo would be dissected by millions across the globe. And here's the part that sent chills down everyone's spine. A new, anonymous insider claimed that the widow had been in direct communication with Tyler Robinson in the weeks leading up to the shooting. While details remain unverified, the allegation implied an unprecedented level of manipulation and strategy. Could Robinson have been a pawn in a much larger game? Was the decoy suspect merely a distraction orchestrated by the same unseen forces? The online community went into a frenzy trying to connect these dots, fueling speculation that the official narrative might be a cover-up hiding something much darker. Just as viewers tried to catch their breath, another bombshell emerged. Whispers suggested that the widow might have known about the exact timing of the event, even the layout of the auditorium, and allegedly planned her actions accordingly. Anonymous sources claimed she was the first to access certain secure areas after the shooting, raising questions about her involvement and knowledge. Every online discussion now boiled down to one impossible to ignore question: was the widow an innocent bystander or the mastermind behind a deadly orchestration? And just like that, the drama didn't end, it exploded. The story that started as a shocking assassination now unfolded into a labyrinth of betrayal, power, money, and secrecy. Social media continues to churn. Hashtags are trending nonstop, and online investigators are combing through every available detail. One thing is clear: the Charlie Kirk case isn't over. The widow's role, the financial discrepancies, and the decoy suspect theory are far from fully revealed. Now that the layers of betrayal, secrecy, and shocking revelations have been exposed, it's time to hear your take. What do you think? Was Charlie Kirk's widow an innocent grieving spouse, or could she have played a role in orchestrating the chaos surrounding his death? Could the decoy suspect and the mysterious audit really be this vignette of a larger, hidden conspiracy? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Every theory, no matter how wild, matters in a story this twisted. If you thought this was intense, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Trust me, you don't want to miss what comes next, because the next updates are rumored to include leaked messages, insider testimony, and shocking revelations that could change everything we thought we knew about Turning Point USA. Share this video with friends who need to see the full story, and keep the discussion going. The internet is buzzing, the threads are exploding, and the questions keep piling up. This is only the beginning. Every day brings new leaks, new twists, and new shocking connections. Stay tuned, because the drama isn't over. The next chapter is coming, and it promises to be even more explosive. Who knows what the widow or anyone else connected will do next?